The Examen Prayer, Ignatian Wisdom for Our Lives Today, by Timothy M. Gallagher O.M.V. The Crossroad Publishing Company, New York. Copyright 2006. Read by John Wykes, O.M.V. Foreword by George Aschenbrenner, S.J. That the unexamined life is not worth living stirs a variety of responses. Some people outright deny the truth of the statement because they see it as the death knell of any spontaneous lifestyle. Others would salute the statement's truth in theory, but concrete practice of the Examen as inscribing that theory in the details of daily living does not take effect. This book of Father Tim Gallagher, however, goes far beyond theory in a compelling use of personal practice and actual experience. His treatment bridges the frequent divide between the truth in theory and daily practice in a human life. His personal experiential treatment of the Examen resolves this frequent incongruity and introduces a more mature phase of renewed understanding of the traditional practice of Examen. The use of personal testimonies to exemplify various aspects of the Examen adds a persuasive experiential tone. The quotations here are neither artificial nor contrived. This is especially true in the explication of the dynamic development and interrelationship of the 5 steps of the formal Examen prayer. Even more convincing than an extra exhortation on the part of the author, these third-party reports have an influence all their own. In 1972, my article on Consciousness Examen was the fruit of an insight that had connected for me. The heart of Examen is daily practice of discernment of spirits. Lifting it out of an overly negative and moralistic misunderstanding, I described a practice that was meant to be much more positive and personal. Examen was, first, a review of God's sustaining and endearing love, touching our hearts in the immediacy of every day. It was also a look into the unique and intimately personal flow of our consciousness, not exclusive of, but beyond a mere noticing of external behavior. The integration of Examen and discernment of spirits was central to Ignatius's understanding. For this reason, Examen was the essential daily prayer for Ignatius, never excusable for any reason. Father Gallagher has recently published a book on Ignatian discernment. That book serves as an important backdrop for his treatment of the Examen. In this present book, he singles out one special day of Ignatius's spiritual experience as recorded in his spiritual diary. March 12th, 1544, was a key day, a rich, very lively day, in Ignatius's discernment about the type of poverty God was determining for the new Company of Jesus. Throughout this book, Father Gallagher makes ingenious use of the account of this one day. It provides a live, unrehearsed experience to exemplify various aspects of the Examen, and, for this reader, it endears again that Jesuit founder, that brother, in his reverential concern to treasure all of God's loving communications. Entry into a practice of Examen that is regular and perduring is not easy for many people. They start to practice it because it seems important, but it just does not last. Sometimes a particular experience ripens our heart and crystallizes a desire that has been growing almost without our noticing it. This grace of desire, a desire for God, a desire to love God more carefully, more thoroughly, paves an effective entry into the practice of the Examen. In this way, through the flaring forth of the graced desire for a more personal loving relationship with God and Jesus, the Examen finds us. Only such being found can initiate and sustain the practice of Examen. Without enough genuine desire for a life of love with God, self-willed determination can never fit the Examen in our lives. Only love and its burning desire, sheer grace from God, can evoke, direct, and develop our hard work of practice of Examen into an effective lifestyle. For this reason, our contemporary postmodern culture poses a challenge for the Examen. In a recent article on postmodern spirituality, Timothy Muldoon makes the following claim about many contemporary
Sample complete. Ready to continue?